Hi, parents. We've all found ourselves in quite a unique situation here. And the feedback I've gotten from a lot of families at home with their little e learners is just getting started can be one of the hardest parts. So, teachers are really creative and they use all sorts of posters and pictures and songs and dances to outline how students get ready for learning throughout the day. The tricky thing about getting ready is that it can look and sound a little different each time we do it. Getting ready to read by yourself takes different steps than tackling a research project with videos, old notes, poster board, versus getting ready for brushing your teeth, getting ready to play cards, or getting ready for math practice. They all sound a little bit different. However, there is one pretty popular structure that helps students get ready regardless of the individual activity. And it's called using your SMARTS, where each letter of SMARTS represents something to consider, usually a physical object that you need to gather so that wherever you are, fits your room, kitchen table, special homework area, you can start your work. So once you've done your SMARTS, all of those steps, we'll look at that checklist in a second, you've gotten ready. At the end of ready, you do. Now that involves intermediate steps, right? So it's really important to read the directions more than once, code those directions, looking for keywords, even turning a big paragraph of directions into a numbered list or into quick bullet points. That's all doing. And then finally, done, which includes turning in the assignment, cleaning up, or somehow marking your stopping point so that another time you can come back and continue. That's your ready, do, and done. Now, I certainly haven't come up with these structures myself, but I'm happy to share them because, again, they're pretty popular in a lot of classrooms. Your kids might even be familiar with it once you start bringing it up to them. So let's take a quick look at the checklist itself. All right, here you can see 3 different variations of the SMARTS checklist in order to get ready for really any type of task. I'll go through this center one, it's the most simple. The first S stands for sheets. That's pretty clear. It's going to be your paper materials that you need. The direction sheet, your workbook sheet, a physical book maybe that you need. M for materials. Here, think more office supplies because art supplies is going to be a separate category here. Now, art supplies might not be very common. It's still important to have your kids stop here at this step and decide, do I or do I not need these things? It helps to just help them be more and more intentional about what they have in front of them and make sure they're focused on the task at hand. R for resources will be the most ambiguous part of SMARTS. This is the part that will change the most from task to task. The pictures here are just showing a simple folder and notebook as examples, but it might be a binder, it might be online resources. I know a lot of teachers use online portfolios so that kids aren't using binders and having to navigate all that paperwork. So you might have them look into their Schoology, Blackboard, Seesaw, what other ones are out there, Google Sites, classroom websites, all those things. Anywhere they might have resources to use. That's old articles, previous assignments, notes, handouts, anything. Technology. Be careful here. This doesn't just mean have the tablet or computer ready. It actually is trying to tell us to be really cognizant of what we'll need. Anticipate which tabs should be open. That might involve reading the directions once or twice before finishing the SMARTS. If I'm completely done with this T of SMARTS, technology, I might need to have 3 or 4 websites already pulled up. Final S, sit and start. Now, of course, some kids are naturally more comfortable on a medicine ball or standing up, kneeling, whatever it is. Sitting simply indicates choose that one spot where you're going to be most apt to get it done. For me, I need to be at a table facing a wall. If I'm looking out a window or at the front door or at the kitchen, I'm going to get distracted. So for me, I always set up my desk facing a wall. That's what works for me. Help your kids find out what works for them. And then, of course, go ahead and get started. This other checklist here has extra verbiage on it that may be helpful. For other kids, it's going to be more distracting. There's also a Spanish version if that's applicable to you. Check out these descriptions for a little bit more information. Finally, this third checklist does look a little bit different. It says, I can get ready to work. I have the papers I need. I have the materials I need. I know the voice level I'll use. I know the one spot where I will stay. Now these last two, voice level and one spot, this is going to be for your kids who need a little bit more structure and who tend to need someone by their side checking in on them because they're not quite self-regulating yet. And that's okay. But having this checklist there will help them to be more cognizant of it and almost start to check in and regulate themselves. This last part, I have the picture in my head of what being done will look like. This is all about visualizing the end product. So if being done means the worksheet is complete on front and back, them simply being able to articulate that helps them realize the scope of the work and how to, again, check in on themselves or regulate how they're doing. Picture in my head of what being done will look like might mean moving the materials to a different spot or getting to a certain page in the book. So getting a picture in your head of what being done will look like is really more or less a signal to read the directions carefully.